Well, hello. Hello. I'm going to start with a story that children love, and this is a story that they say, tell it again, tell it again, tell it again. So this is going to be an opportunity for you to practice some of your Spanish. And so it's an interactive story, and here we go. Once upon a time, there was a family of mice. Una familia de ratones. There was Mama Raton. Who's that? Mama Mouse. There was Papa Raton. Who's that? Father, Papa Mouse. There was Hermana Raton. The sister. And there was Hermano Raton. The brother. They went on a picnic on a beautiful day. And after they finished eating, brother and sister mice said, Mama, Papa, vamos a jugar. We're gonna go play. And Mama said, está bien, that's fine, you can go play. Pero ten cuidado con el gato. Be careful with the cat who lived to the other side of the fence. Brother and sister mice said, okay. That in Spanish means okay. And they went playing and they were having so much fun. And after a while, Sister Mouse thought that she had never seen a cat in person before. Or in cat. Whatever you want to say that. She had seen cats in books, encyclopedias, TV, but never in person or in cats. So where do you think she went? She went to see the cat. Close to the fence. And there was el gato, the cat, con sus ojos grandes, his big eyes, y sus largos bigotes, long whiskers, y con su cola que hacía. Sister Mouse saw the cat and she said, oh, es un gato. It's a cat. Brother Mouse said, es un gato. It's a cat. And the cat was trying to reach him through the slats, the opening of the gate. But you know, they didn't care. They did not care. And they got silly. Se pusieron muy cómicos. And they started to say, hola, gato flaco. Hi, skinny cat. And the cat jumped on top of the fence, and it was, almost reaching at them. But they said, hola, gato flaco. Hola, gato flaco. Hola, gato flaco. Could you do that with me? Let's do it. Hola, gato flaco. Hola, gato flaco. Hola, gato flaco. Oh, come on, you can do better than that. We can do better than that. Last time. Hola, gato flaco. Hola, gato flaco. Hola, gato flaco. In that moment, the cat jumped to the other side of the fence. And there was, right in front of them, Ay, Mama! And they ran and 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 ran back. And they finally reached Mama and Papa, and they said, Mama, Papa, there's a cat, un gato, that is chasing us. And Papa said, un gato, a cat, I don't see any gatos. Besides, if the cat comes, I am going to tell him that I am Papa Raton, and I'm going to give him pow pow. In that moment, the cat showed up. And Papa looked at the cat, and he said, Ay, Mama. And he ran behind Mama. Brother and sister mice also said, Ay, Mama. And then they ran behind Mama. So the only thing that stood up between La Familia y el gato was Mama. And Mama did not know what to do. But with the courage that a mother gets when her family has been threatened. She looked at the cat right into his eyes, and she stood up as high as she could. And she took a big breath, and she said, "Woof, woof, 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 woof." The cat looked around, turned around, and ran away. Finally, when the family came home, nice and safe, Mama said, "Children, niños, vengan acá con here, niños. Children, did you see that? Did you see that? I told you that it always pays to speak another language." And that was Mouse barking. So you might think that because of my southern accent from South America, I am a real southerner, maybe more southerner than many of you because of South American accent. Maybe you think I speak Spanish. Un poquito, I would say, a little. Maybe you think I speak dog, I do. I speak Chihuahua very good. I can speak cat, but you know what? My native language is art. I speak art. Art has allowed me to listen to my story, to the story of others, and to see the value of connecting people. And that eventually will make them feel that they belong to something greater than themselves. And that will provoke change and will provoke action. Now, to speak art or to speak another language, it takes a lot of time in listening. And that's something that we don't do very well. Research said that before you learn a new word and make it part of your own vocabulary, you have to repeat that word 30 times before it's your own word in different contexts. So imagine the amount of time to listen, to repeat, to study the pronunciation, the grammar, the syntaxes of the language. And now, imagine the time that we spend listening to others. We don't have time to listen to others, or we don't make time to listen to others. So today, I have two questions. When was the last time that you listened to the story of others? And when was the last time that you listened to the story of others with an empathetic heart? I am going to tell you this. I am not a great listener. I'm not sure if you are. But something that I can tell you is that I can fake listening very well. Can you fake it? Because, you know, I have the perfect practice. I'm telling you how I practice it. Unfortunately, to practice listening, you need another person. I wish you can practice listening by yourself, but that doesn't happen. But the way that I fake and practice listening is by when my mother calls me from Venezuela. Well, this is my beautiful mother, maybe 50 years ago. And she used to be sweet, and she used to be kind, but she became a senior many years ago. And when she calls me from Venezuela, and I answer the phone, I always see, and I have to see if I have about 45 minutes free. So she calls, and literally, this is how it sounds. Mira, mijita, tú sabes que el otro día yo estaba estacionándome en el estacionamiento de Plaza Las Américas y un señor me estacionó. Entonces, ¿tú sabes lo que es eso? El señor me dijo que yo soy chavista. Yo no soy ninguna chavista. ¿Tú sabes qué es eso? Es un insulto que me dijo que yo era una chavista. Y tú sabes una cosa, tú fuiste al banco y te cobraste la Medicaid. Ay, la remesa con la ayuda. So, this is what I do. I put her in speaker. And then I say, those three things carry me for 45 minutes. And we can practice. Everybody say, So that means, wow, I'm with you. I cannot believe that. How sweet. So those three things are the only things that I say when she talks. Now, suddenly, in the middle of the suddenly, she said things like this. Pero recuerde, hija, no sea usted claridad en la calle y oscuridad en la casa. And that made me stop everything. I was doing my laundry, I was doing my nail, the pedicure, putting the chicken in the frost, but then suddenly I stopped. And I say, wow, don't be light outside your home and darkness inside your home. Or things like this. Dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres. Tell me who you are with and I tell you who you are. And then I remember these are sayings and proverbs that my grandmother used to pass to her, and she's passing to me, and I'm passing to my daughter and my son Isabela and Samuel. And then I see a great connection. And then I stop and I see, wow, she means well for me. She deserves better than my faking listening. And then I see that she's lonely, and then I see her desperation to reach me, to tell me, are you my daughter? The desperation to know that she's still connected with her grandchildren who do not speak Spanish that well and do not have the time and the patience to understand. However, she tries, she calls, she wants to have that connection. She wants to feel that she belongs to a family that once were living in the same roof, and now because of distance, we're far away. And then, when I stop and I listen to her with an empathetic heart, the whole conversation changed. The whole dynamic changed. There is a beautiful moment. And then I remember that she's probably the only person that prays for me at night. And when she feels that she belongs, then I know that belonging is the highest dream that we all immigrants have. And I'm going to share with you very briefly the process that it took for me to feel that I am an adopted Charlottean, that I belong to this community, that I have something to give back, that I have something to pay back. And hopefully my example also is an example that mirrors the example of other immigrants. These are the seasons, the phases that it took for me to feel that I was not the other, that I was not part of the community, but I was part of the community. The first part of my process was a process of disconnection. When I came to Charlotte about 20 years ago, I came to the South when the South, the North, the South, and the Black South, and the White South was turning into colors. And to me it was a puzzle when people stop and ask me, what are you? What are you? Are you a Latina? What are you? Are you a Hispanic? How do you want us to call you so we don't offend you? Are you a white Latina? Are you a black Latina? Are you a cinnamon Latina? I don't know, a cappuccino, a latte. I have no idea about how to answer to that question, what I was. But what's more intriguing was that white people was not interested in knowing who I was. Why did I have to find a title, which actually I still don't have, and I have a hard time finding a title for myself. I wonder why people don't say who you are. I'm just Irania. And I wish I could have told them that before being a Latina, I am a woman who wonders at night about the possibility of miracles. Before being a Latina, I am a woman who carried in her womb the journey of 2 children. Before being a Latina, I am a woman who sees herself in the mirror, amazed about the history that gave meaning to my name. And it's in that name that I found my driven forces rooted in my childhood, watered by the words of my mother, mi mamá, my father, mi papá, mi abuela, my grandmother, my teachers. And driven forces rooted in my childhood, watered by the words of a beautiful language, español. En español, to say I love you, you cannot say I love you. You have to say te amo, te quiero, te adoro, te venero, me mata, me idolatro, me fascinas, me muero por ti. Hundreds of words. So here I am, a woman, a person that have fears, that have hope, that desire romance for her life. an immigrant? I wish people would ask me for who I was. But that disconnection created a confusion. And the good part of the confusion is that confusion pushed you to create yourself again and reshape yourself again. So I pondered and I thought for many, many years who I was. And that was the discovery, the who I was. It was that process of finding your identity, which is never it. You never, in my opinion, find your identity. It's in transition, it's constant. My mother came recently and she said, "Mija, tú sí has cambiado." That means, daughter, you have changed so much. You are nothing of what I knew about you. And I didn't know if I should have taken that positively or negatively, but definitely I have changed. So when people say, what's your identity? Well, maybe right now I have some values, some thoughts, but I'm pretty sure 5 years to come, I'm pretty sure 10 years to come, I might change because, identity is always a process of change. But discovering the who, the way I discovered who I was and glue myself was a process of reconciliation. And to reconcile that part of the what and the who, the past, the present, my language, is my language a barrier? My accent will always be a barrier or not? Could it be something that is an asset? All of these questions. It was a process that took a process of reconciliation, and the way I reconciled myself was through the arts. It was through the literary arts. I always liked to write, and I became a writer officially because I published my first book in the year 2007. It was Chippy Chippy, Small Shells of the Sea. So when I became an author, a writer, and I had the opportunity to go in classrooms and share the love for languages and see the impact of writing in 2 languages, that's when I discovered that my past was worthy. What I carried, those sayings, those proverbs, whatever I learned was as valuable as the present and the environment where my children are living right now. So I reconciled myself with the literary arts. I write in 2 languages. I am invited because I am a Latina writer, but I am not obligated to write for Latino children or for Latino families. I write for all children. And sometimes I have problems because I'm just a writer. That's what I would like to be perceived as, a writer who happens to be Latina and embrace my culture. It's impossible. You just listen to me and I know I'm Latina because of my thick accent. But I write to create a global understanding. I write to create opportunities and bridges for cultures to travel without visas, without passports. Just travel with the curiosity of learning about other cultures. I share every day through my job with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library and through my job as an author. I sometimes go and do bibliotherapy in hospitals and work with families that have cancer, populations that are facing and battling cancer. And with bibliotherapy and the power of books, I see how they reconcile that struggle inside with the words. I sometimes go to jails and sometimes go to senior centers and bring in multicultural books that create multicultural readers. I see again the power of the words. And I dream for more spaces where librarians, teaching artists, teachers, parents, and children can work together and can share the art process. I also dream for a day where the faces of these writers are reconciled in Charlotte-Mecklenburg school curriculums, maybe in a book bag that you can have the books of famous Nobel Prizes Latin American writers and famous American writers like Edgar Allan Poe, Gabriel García Márquez, Maya Angelou, Isabel Allende, Irania Patterson, Faulkner, Neruda. Those are wonderful writers, and I hope that adults and families and children can read about them, not because they are American writers, because they're African American writers, because they're Irish writers, because they're Latino writers. No, that we can read and we can go into the who they are and not what they are. That we can go and listen to the stories that they have to share with the world. And when we listen, with an empathetic heart, we will be able to speak the language of humanity. And when we speak the language of humanity, maybe one day, if you ever stay in the role of Mama Mouse, facing the threat of a cat, maybe one day you will be able to bark like a German Shepherd. Thank you.